Okay, on behalf of all of us at Greif, welcome to the Discover Greif webinar series. My name is Cheryl Cottle, and I am responsible for marketing and communications for our Global Industrial Packaging Division at Greif, and I will be your host for today's event. We are pleased to restart the Discover Greif webinar series after a brief break over the summer, and we'll start with this session on how is it made. Our Global Industrial Packaging Division supports many products around the world. As you can see on the screen, our breadth of supply of products that we supply. And today we're really pleased to share with you how a GCUBE IBC, how a steel drum, and how plastic drums are made. So while each of our facilities are unique, with the overall process of how a drum is made or how an IBC is made is relatively similar around the world. So no matter where or what part of the world you're joining us from, we know you'll find our spotlight on Falkenberg, Sweden to be educational. And at the same time, if you're interested in a virtual tour of a facility near you, we encourage you to reach out to your account manager to schedule that meeting. Today, we have with us our product managers for IBC, steel, and plastic products, and they will be joined by our team in Falkenberg, Sweden. They will each provide a brief introduction of themselves when they first speak. We will be recording the webinar to share with those who are unable to attend, and it will be sent out via email later today. And your account managers will also have a copy of the PowerPoints if you're interested in those as well. In addition, we're using Zoom, so you'll find a chat button in the bottom of your screen where you can submit questions at any time during the presentation. We do have breaks scheduled at various parts of the presentation to answer those questions. And as you can see, we have a very busy agenda, so I'm not going to lag very long here in the opening. We'll first share with you a little bit about Falkenberg, and then we'll go through each of the substrates with an introduction and then a tour with the team. So with this, I'll hand it over to Alexander, who will get us started with a safety minute.
Thank you very much, Cheryl. My name is Alexander Johansson, and I'm in charge of the operations in UK and Scandinavia. I'd like to wish you a warm welcome to this webinar from the operations in Falkenberg, and it's located by the coast in the southwest of Sweden. But before we continue with the webinar, I'd like to take the opportunity to brief you about a new and broader approach to safety in Greif. Safety is on top of the agenda in Greif, and this week we actually have the annual Safety Week. All of our colleagues across the globe will participate in many different safety workshops, and in addition to these, we will also spend time on the concept of zero harm. Whilst we are strong in technical systems and solutions, zero harm goes beyond this and focuses more on our behaviors. Now, we are all role models in terms of safety, and we need to look out for each other. Think of our colleagues as our brothers and sisters. We need to make this discussions about safety a positive experience, and through engagement, we believe that we will achieve our safety goals. Now, zero harm, it's about each of us finishing the day not only accident-free, but safe, well, and happy at work as well as at home. Now let's cover Falkenberg by the numbers. The factory was started a bit more than 50 years ago and employs approximately 90 people. The factory is quite large, 40,000 square meters or 430,000 square feet. But on the other hand, as you will learn today, it also has 3 different production areas: steel, plastic, and IBC. Sustainability has been high on the agenda for many years, and we've made some pretty good progress on that. We are especially happy to report that since 2018, we have 0 waste to landfill, and we also changed a lot of our energy consumption away from fossil fuel to green or renewable types. But with that, I will hand over to Milan and the team, and we should be off for a flying start of the tour itself. Over to you, Milan.
Thank you, Alexander, and hello everybody, and welcome to Falkenberg. My name is Milan Reljanovic. I'm the plant manager at this facility that's located in southern Sweden, near to the sea. And before we go into the details of production, different products, I'd just like to show you an overview of the facility. And in your picture to the left, you can see the steel drum factory. On the right, you see the IBC, and in the far end, you see the plastic. And I would like to mention that the whole facility, we use green electricity. For process and heating, we use biogas. And for our own transports, we use HVO diesel. And this is a part of the work of our carbon footprint. And now let's go into the IBC, over to the IBC.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome again to this webinar where we will go through our production lines. And my name is Luca Bettoni. I'm the Global IBC Product Manager in Greif, so dealing with IBC since 1999, so 20 years now, dealing with this packaging. So GCUBE is our IBC, it's the Greif IBC, and we are producing it in many versions. So we have first of all different sizes. So because we are producing 800 or 220 gallons, 1,000 liters or 275 gallons, and 1,250 liters or 330 gallons IBCs. We have different UN approval levels. We are producing, we will see later also, anti-static IBC for AX zones. We have a special line for food application or areas where high cleanliness is required. And then we have also developed the shield for barrier properties against permeation. So we have different type of pallet, different type of colors, different type of valves in order to fit really every customer need. Moving to the next slide, we would like to show where we are producing our GCUBE, because we will see today one production line, but we have many all around the globe. We can say that Greif is the fastest growing company in IBC footprint, because in the last 7 years we have tripled the production of our GCUBE, because from just a few locations in Europe, we are producing now, as we will see, in Falkenberg, in Israel, in China, in Russia, in US, and we are now investing in a new brand facility in UK. We have just invested in Spain, and there are really others to come that will be really communicated one by one in the coming months and years. So the plan is really to have Greif as one of the major actor on the IBC production. So that's why really we have invested so much in the last years, and we will continue to do it. Entering more in the details of the product itself, I would like to give you some highlights of our GCUBE today. One is in regards to our valve. Just really a very simple concept that we have developed, and we are the only one doing it. The valve of our GCUBE is made by overcoated polyethylene components. What does it mean for you? It doesn't mean that the contact, the material in contact with your field product is just polyethylene. Polyethylene is the bottom, polyethylene is the valve, and polyethylene is the overcoated of all components around the valve. That's really an enormous simplicity, because when something is compatible with polyethylene, you know that with us, you have just this material in contact with yours. So what is compatible with the valve is compatible with all the elements. Reduction of configurations, reduction of leakages. So those are really the goals that you can achieve thanks to it. And on top of this, the valve that we have developed is also very easy to use, because thanks to a thumb screw that you can remove by hand, and an aluminum foil which is totally removable by hand, you can just use your hands for handling this valve. The valve is special, but then also the structure is special. And then moving to the cage, I would like to really emphasize the fact that our cage is also made in a specific shape and a specific design, which allows you to ship a heavier weight on top of the IBC compared to others in the market. So we are able to resist more weight on sea transport or standard transport conditions. And what does it mean for you? Really reducing the inventory space for an higher stackability. You can stack really GCUBE on a heavy product also during the transport, and we can reduce by 50% the shipping cost. Reduce risk of deformations. You have a faster emptying of containers, and then thanks to a fully automatic production line, you will see that you can have a constant high quality level of our cages production. Moving to the next, we are now entering more in the plastic part of the bottle. I would like to show that we are producing most of our facilities with the 3 layers technology, which allows us really to produce many type of different solutions. First of all, the inner layer remains in every case 100% virgin polyethylene. Then we can play with the external ones in using, like we see in this case, in the intermediate one, for example, a shield barrier. So a specific blend that we have developed within Greif to reduce the permeation of gases through polyethylene, instead of going for a 6 layers technology with a VOH. And also with the external layer, we can play in being colored white or black, or even AX for anti-static purposes. So really, for summarizing the big advantage of our IBCs, you can have really a company that is following you in your growth all around the globe and producing IBCs everywhere in the global regions. We have a universal compatible valve. We have the best solution for food applications, a wide portfolio covering all the needs. The best barrier, which is applicable to every production line that we have, or almost every production line that we have around the globe, and the best performances in automatic warehouses. And then again, Greif is heavily investing on IBC to follow the growth of your production. So I will now hand over to Milan for entering more in the details of our production line. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Luca. And I'll run you through the process steps of the production of the IBC. The first step, as you see, is the cage and unwelded. So you put the pattern with the bars on the table, and the first operation is to every point being welded together in this machine. In the background, you see the transportation of a welded cage, which is then being converted to the next operation. And in this case, you will see in shortly the bending process. After this bending process, you have the fitting, and also you have the clinching, that's called in the operations.
What is important to highlight here is that what you see now is equal in every facility where we are producing GCUBE. So you can count on an IBC which is identical in every location and identical in every type of configuration, UN, not UN, or any type of pallet.
And here you also see the putting on together with a plastic pallet, which is one option we have.
The plastic pallet is also identical in every location where we are producing all around the globe, as the hybrid or the wooden pallet.
So in this area, we put together, fixating the cage to the plastic pallet, and also you can see the operator adding the plates. Worth mentioning is that we don't use screws for this, but the plates are individual to the wishes of your customer. And now the cage is being transported to the docking area for the bottle to come. But before we see that operation, let's run through the production of the bottle itself. So here you see the blow molding machine, and you see the parison coming down from the die head. And the first step is to close the parison on the top and bottom and inflate through the blow pin air. So it's basically you're blowing up as a balloon to get the shape of the wished product, in this case the IBC bottle. And here you can see the finished product. So in the mold itself, it's been cooled down, so you get the fixture and form you want. As you see in top and bottom, you have excesses of products, and next operation is trimming, or what we also call deflashing. And this has been taken away. Now it's being ripped away, and the bottle will be turned upside down, and we'll do the same for that. What's happening is that this deflash is reused in the process, and you can see in just short how it's being dropped. And what's important to mention when having food IBCs, so food production, we are not mixing any batches for the resin, so it's always the same being reused. So next step for the operation is the attachment and welding of the valve, and also some extra trimming. After this operation, the IBC bottle is transferred to the leak testing station, where we do the first test.
What you have seen here is absolutely valid for 2 inches or 3 inches valve, and we can have it a weldable version or a screwable version. So every really configuration is possible. And the valve has been tested already in the production site of the valves at 1 atmosphere in order to assure you that the valve is already checked.
And every approved bottle in this station is being laser engraved with the UN number, batch number, date and time, and that's for traceability purposes. After this, it's being loaded up to the buffered zone in this case, buffered, allowing us for several hours of production. So now we're back at the area where we have the docking station, and you can see the bottle being transferred from the buffered zone down to the cage that's waiting for it. And down there, you see the cage waiting for the bottle to be put in place.
What is important here is that in all those movements during the mezzanine area, but also in this operation, the bottles are closed and then are open just for the leak tester and then reclosed again in order to assure the highest cleanliness for any type of application.
And now the cage and the bottle are on the way for the second final assembly, and that's the top bars, and they're also very important to keep the bottle in place. And in the end, however, we'll see a drop test, a UN drop test, and the significance of having those bars in place. So you see the operator putting them on the top, and also fixating them with a screw in each area. After this, they are then leak tested for the second time, in order just to be sure that nothing has happened with the bottle in different operations. After this, then the bottles are transferred to the loading area. And here's an option. Some customer would like to have plastic protection coverage, and that's mostly food, but it's optional in all our plants as well. And after this, they are being transported either to stock or to trucks. But now we will see a drop test. So here you see it being loaded up in the air, and in shortly we will drop the IBC, and you can see how it works with the UN test.
The drop test is the most impressive test, and the goal is that we need to have a drop test with the liquids inside, with the IBC completely freezed outside in the polyethylene, and then we don't need to see any leakage. On top of this, we have vibration machines and also a hydraulic pressure test as well.
Thanks, guys, for that IBC tour. I wanted to just point out, it seems like I've gotten a few chat messages about presentation not in focus, or maybe they're stuck on a slide. Obviously, having video in a Zoom call is a lot of bandwidth, so I can recommend refreshing your browser. But if everyone's not experiencing those technical difficulties, it might be your connection. So just let me know if everybody is unable to see anything at any time. Luca, you do have one question here. Can you provide a white bottle with PCR regrind material?
Yeah, technically it's possible, because our PCR is used usually in the intermediate layer and in the external one when it's just a transparent one. Inner layer remains all the time virgin polyethylene, and then just playing in case with the white outside, that we can combine virgin inside, PCR intermediate, and then white or black outside. That's really a big flexibility. Yep.
And then what's so special about the cage? You mentioned it, and there was this similar cage all around the world. What is so special about our IBC cage?
Well, the cage is that thanks to the shape of the tubes, the thickness of the tubes, without having the need to use a kilogram more of our competitors, thanks to the design, we have been able to achieve an higher resistance in performances for stacking, combining rigidity and elasticity, because this is the type of stresses that are required during the transport. Just to give you an example, with standard IBCs in the market, you can stack during transport 1 ton and 600 kilogram of product. With our UBC, you can go to over 2 tons and 200 kilograms. So that's a huge difference in terms of stackability.
Okay, there's quite a few questions popping in. One is regarding fire-resistant versions of our IBC.
Can you repeat the question, sorry?
The question is regarding fire-resistant versions of the IBC.
Well, we are developing it because we see in North America that this type of requirement is more common. And we are working on it, so we are expecting to become ready in the coming months, and we are developing a specific solution able to resist to the UL performances.
Okay, great. And then there's a few specific questions about, can you supply PCR IBC in China from our Chinese facilities or Singapore? I know you're obviously expanding PCR production around the world. So
yeah, we are expanding the production of PCR. The big goal is together with our customer to find a way to increase the collection of empty packaging in order to generate the right PCR. So technically it's possible also in China. Now we are working, maybe we can work together to increase the number of collected IBCs in order to generate the right amount of PCR that can be used over there.
Yeah. And then there's a question regarding a specific requirement for the type of steel that we used to make our bars and cages.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have selected not only the thicknesses or the dimension of the tubes, but we are using special type of material which are treated in a way that will support heavier weight without increasing the quantity of steel used in our IBC.
Gotcha. And there's a few questions. We'll reach out to you guys separately, but I think there was a question about our cycle time. So we're not going to share all of that information with everybody today, but we'll move on to plastic drums at this time. So Tom, I'd like to introduce you to the group.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tom Palmer. I'm the Global Product Manager for Plastics at Greif. And just a little bit of background information. I've been with the company for 30 years. I held different roles in different divisions, and I'm now combining technical, plant and sales management experiences to try to give you the best support we can on our plastic products. You can see here on this map, plastic is definitively an integral part of our Greif product offering. And we have a global presence also in plastics with 27 sites throughout the globe, and actually still expanding, the latest ones being opened in South Africa near Johannesburg and Durban. You can go to the next slide, please. So Greif offers a broad product range. I think the first one would be large and intermediate drums. There are either tight head and open head drums for liquid or solid products. The typical range is 30 to 290 liters or 10 to 77 gallons. The next range is jerrycans from 5 to 30 liters, which is about 1 to 7 gallons. They can be square or round. And those are typically what we call stackable jerry cans. We then have bottles, which are containers with a narrow neck. They're not stackable, and they go from below 1 liter up to 10 liters. So it's about a quart up to 3 gallons, depending on the regions and what is being used. And the last product we have is injected pails. Sorry, they can be rectangular or round. They can, it's a good product for ultra clean packaging, and they can come with a spout for some very specific industries. With our range of product, we are able to serve all the main industries in the chemical segments. Can be paint and coatings, lubricants, flavor and fragrances, or food or agrochemicals. On this slide, we're introducing a product we are making in Falkenberg. It's called the JCR Jerrycan. I'd like to take the opportunity to give you some specificities of the design, which can be offered to you on a global basis, thanks to our footprint. So with this packaging, we can propose to our customers to have the same packaging all around the globe. So basically, your customer will have the same image everywhere, which today is quite a challenge to obtain when we know the diversity of the models we can find. It is also a way for you to simplify the management of your specifications, because one unit can fit all, and your SKU rationalization also. So today we have a JCR available in different regions, EMEA, LATAM, or Singapore, and we are ready to launch the 5 to 10 liter range. It was a product that was developed taking into consideration sustainability, so it's lighter, but it's maintaining the performance. We can propose it with PCR, so post-consumer resin, and it's part of our EcoBalance product range. It can come in multiple colors or closing options. We even have a anti-glug venting system that goes through the handle, which allows a smoother emptying. After this, I will hand over to Milan, who will show you how a plastic product is made.
Thank you, Tom. We'll start up just showing the products we do produce in Falkenberg and also components that we're using resin in different forms. In bin 1, you see the powder of the resin. And in bin number 2, you see the pellets also bin. This is virgin material. And then we come to the color that we refer as the master batch, is the bin number 3. And list 4 is regrind or PCR that could be added to our products. So let's start with the JC or Jerrycan production. And this is machine that we're going to look at. And we go into close, and similar to IBC, we see the parison coming down from the die and roughly 200 degrees. Here you see the movement of the mold closing, and the same principle that you close it, you blow in air as a balloon. The walls of the mold is cooled by water, and it keeps its shape. Then it's being transported out of the mold for additional cooling with air. But the first operation is the trimming or deflashing. So you can see here how the top and bottom is being removed. At the same time, we also take away what we call handle scrap, the rest that's put into the handle. And now we put additional cooling with air. Now we will see when it's going to the next station, a better overview of the whole process. So you can see when it's blown, when it's opened, and when it's transported from the mold. And after this operation, then the Jerrycan is being transported to our control center. And here we do the measurement of weight, we look at the leakage and put on bunks.
Well, in this station, we also do Jerrycans for the food industry. So we are integrating additional steps. And like, for instance, in this machine, we can add some protective cap to avoid the contamination.
And when they are controlled in the station, then transported, and it's very important to have the caps on for the food stuff so it don't get contaminated. Every Jerrycan is going through a laser engraving station where we put the batch number and the time and production before it's moved to the packaging and stacking area, which you see in this slide, where we had put a new level of Jerrycans. And we have different types of packaging.
You can see here what we do in Sweden. So with a few pelletization patterns that are optimized to what our customers are asking. You can find also in different countries, other countries, you can find different ways to stack the drums. This will depend on the shape of the container, the pallets, or even the truck heights.
And as you see in this picture, we do pick up in the background different pallets used for different customers' wishes. And also you see the wrapping of one pallet with a different size than when it's coming in for the next station. And this is all done either to optimize the transports of the product or optimize what could be handled in customers' stock, which is affected. All units after this are automatically being labeled with a batch number, article number, production date. So you soon will see that sticker coming on. And we can also put on your article number for traceability or barcodes to make it easier to track in stock. After this, then it's being transported to either the truck or to the stock. So now let's see how the production of drums are made. So in this picture, you will see the mold getting open with an already baked drum inside. So the first thing is taking it out, and you here see a good picture with the top and bottom, the flashing, and now it's being handled by a gripper to the next station. And in the background, you will see the next parison coming down, preparing for production, a new drum, and being closed and blown air. And this view, you will see where the drum is placed in the trimming or the flashing area. Meanwhile, this operation is done, then we go to the cooling stations, because when the drum leaves the mold, it's roughly 200 degrees, and we cool it down to 50-60 degrees in this station before it's transported to the end of the line by the gripper. And in the background, in this view, you can see the deflashing of the top and bottom scrap and then being reused in the process.
We have on this picture, Milan is mentioning the A drum with ISO dimensions. We do also have in North America and Latin America different sizes, which are more market specific, but still part of our blow molding product range.
And after this final, the drums comes to the end of line, as I mentioned. First operations having putting in a drain hole on the top of the machine. Then the bungs are placed, tri-shear bungs, and we also do the leak testing in this station before transporting out. And even here we have a lazy engraving on the top telling about the batch number, production date, and production time. So when leaving the end of line, we have conveyors offering the drums to cool down even more. So when packaging, they are roughly 30 degrees. And this area, you can see our row pack system, but in the world, we offer different types of packaging. In this case, it's our row pack system that offers up to 40 drums per pallet.
Yeah, I know to other regions of the world, we do ship the drums. They can be loose loaded or palletized on different pallets, which basically can be 4, 8, or sometimes 12 high, depending on the truck height possibilities.
Thank you guys for that tour of our plastic and Jerrycan production. We do have quite a few questions, and I do want to let everybody know if we don't answer your question, we will get back to you offline for a conversation. So we'll try and go through some of these. We have a couple of questions regarding PCR, Tom. Where do we source our PCR from? How do we maintain our PCR quality? Maybe you can talk to that.
Yeah, I've seen indeed those questions. The quality of PCR lays in the quality of the collection and how we where we collect and how we sort the drums. So basically, we put a lot of effort on the way we collect and the way we sort the drums, and this is where the quality of the PCR will come. So we have our own collection centers, or we work with partners. And what we do is we write down specific procedures on how we do, just to make sure we do not mix things that cannot be mixed.
And then if I move on to some other questions here, again, we'll keep the speed of production proprietary to ourselves. Let's see, what other quality checks are done during production? So that question came in for both JCR and the plastic drums.
Well, basically, go ahead, Milan.
Sorry, Tom, you're
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
Sorry. Besides from the measurements itself, the drum contains wall thickness, and also that it will be able to cope with the demands from the UN marking. That's a crucial one.
Okay, and then there's a couple of other technical questions about, let's see, what's the difference on the plastic product when used powder or pellet resin? So they're asking more technical questions about when you use what resin when you're choosing to make that.
Depending on which quality you want a drum or which mechanical properties, the suppliers offer different grades in different either pellets or powder. So that's basically what's been offered on the market, and then to meet the demands, usually higher UN demands.
And this is a regional question, Tom, about tapered bottom poly drums in the United States to prevent temping. I know we have other options like foot rings and things for that as well. I don't know if you want to talk to that.
Not okay. We do offer tapered drums where at the moment this is really a North American drum. I'm not sure we're talking about this drum. So those drums are stackable, so you can have like close to 30 drums on a pallet. We are offering those options. They can be shipped actually from the US to other regions because we don't. We suffer less from the freight disadvantage.
Right. And then there was a question about the Valorex drums. I know we don't show how those are made in this video, but maybe you could maybe walk through how those are manufactured.
Yeah, it's a different process. Here you've seen what we call blow molding. So you have the paraffin, and then you blow the paraffin in a mold to get its shape. The Valorex is different in the sense that you extrude the body, so you have a tube, and then you injection mold the top and the bottom, and those three elements are welded together to make a drum.
Okay, and in presence of time, we're going to move on to steel, but we'll reach out to you regarding any of those other questions we were unable to address. So, Nicola, we'll turn the presentation over to you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nicolas Debersin, and I am the Global Product Manager for Steel Drum. Greif has the most extended footprint in the world. We have 70 plants that are doing a large drum and 22 factories that are making intermediate and smaller drum. What you can see here on the map, the green one is for the large drum and the blue one is for small drum. Next, please. In the two main standards that we have is 216 liter one. This is a 55 US gallon one. This is what we call the large drum, and it's the most common drum that we are producing. This is what we will see after in Falkenberg. The other common product that we have is a 50-60 liter one, and it's mainly for the lubricant industry. We have also a full range of different dimensions where we will have a different volume, height, and diameter that can answer to your needs. So we have also a full other type of product and specificity that can answer to your need. Next, please. We have also some protections that we can put inside this drum. Okay, the basic one is a plain drum. When you don't have any specific needs and not an aggressive product, we will go on that solution. If you have some products that are more aggressive, we can put an internal lacquer. We have also in Greif these services that we call the packaging advice, and we are able to study which lacquer will be the more appropriate to your product. So we have this services that is available in Greif. We have also other possibilities with some plastic bag or aseptic bag. It will depend on the cleanliness that you will need. Another typical product that we can offer, this is what we call the composite drum. The composite drum is the combination of a plastic drum and a steel drum. So we have the advantage of the plastic drum with compatibility with the chemicals that you can put, and also the strongness of the steel drum. Next, please. To continue on the other specificities that we can offer, we have the conical drum. So this conical drum has this name say, it's a specific shape that is dedicated to the tomatoes and fruit paste. Thanks to this specific shape, we are able to put 2,000 drum in a 40-feet container. Another type of drum that we can offer, this is the salvage drum. If you have to transport some dangerous goods that are damaged, we have this protective drums that can be offered. We have also a full range of stainless steel drum. This stainless steel drum can be used in some laboratory specificities or nuclear waste. And here we have all the different sizes that are available. Last but not least, we have this specific bitumen drum. The specificities of the bitumen drum, you are able to put the bitumen directly inside the drum at hot temperature. After the product will cool down, you will do the transport. And when it will arrive at its destination, we are able to reheat the product and to reuse this product inside. Next, please. The last point is personalization that we can do. The basic solutions that we have is the screening one. We can have different color on 3 band and also 3 screening possibility. And we can go up to the solutions that we have developed that we call Drums 360. The Drums 360 is the customization of the product. And we have here some example for some special sport event, for some anniversary. So if you have a design that you want to put on a drum and to be in link with all your brand, we are able to do that with this new technology that we have with the Drum 360. And now I will pass over to Milan to see more in detail how we produce the drum.
Thank you, Nicholas. And this is just a picture of the range of products we make. It's open head and tight head drums, composite drums, and internally and outside lacquered drums that we have here in Falkenberg. Next to the first operation, in the background, you can see sheets being rolled before being seam welded, and the thickness of the sheets that we offer here in Falkenberg is 0.8, 0.9, and 1 millimeter. But in the group, we do have up to 1.5 millimeters. So after the welding, the second operation is then it's called curl or flanging, which you can see in the bottom of the page is the end of the tubes are bended up, and afterward it goes to the body beading, which is actually expansion in the middle. This makes the construction more stronger. And you also have corrugating, which is a rolling operation, which you can see in the far end of this picture.
At that point, what we can see is the put in place of the bottom and the top. And the bottom we have here in Greif specificities that we call the SDB. This is a standard down bottom. There is a special shape that was developed, and thanks to this special shape, we are able to increase the stress cracking resistance of the drum by 8% regarding what we can find on the market. So it's a specific bottom that you can have.
Next operation is the painting, but before the paint, we put on paint cappers that's preventing color to come inside the drum. And the first stage in this paint booth is the center band painting, where you should see the black. And in this, we have 3 stations. The next station here, we put paint on the top and the bottom band, as you can see. And the third stage is a top and bottom of the drum.
Here also something that is using a Falkenberg, but not only Falkenberg. This is what we call the eco paint, and it's something that we are developing to reduce our CO2 impact by reusing the paint. So the bottom will be with a gray color.
So after the oven and the cooling area, the next operation is the removal of the paint cap, which you can see in this area. And in the middle here, very difficult to see, we inject helium into the drum. The reason for that, I will come back soon. And also this last step here is that we put on tri-issue closures or paint cap. The helium is then used for detecting leakage in every drum. So in this operation, the drum first is measured, the height of it, and then it's put into a chamber for analyzing if there's any leakage. For open head drum, we use the delta measure. And if the drums are approved, then they continue to the next operation, which is then putting on the labeling for UN marking, which you'll see in close shortly. Every drum, though, has a button engraved the UN marking as well, but it's easier to read out when it's packed on a pallet. So next operation is the screening.
Yeah, as we have already seen here, we have a simple screening one, so about the personalization of the drum. As we already spoke about, we have also the possibility to offer this customization with a drum 360. Another point to underline at that point that we have in Falkenberg, and Falkenberg was also the first factory that is using one. The paint that you see here is a UV curing one. What that means that you don't have a standard oven to cure this this paint. We are using a UV oven, and we have a reduction of the CO2 impact by this type of technology, as we are using less energy.
And here you can see the picture, and in the picture, the entering of the drums into the UV curing station, which is basically a UV lamps drying the paint. And next picture, you will see them entering out from this area, and their paint is solid. It cannot be removed. Final operations is the packaging area where the drums are being transported, and this area you have opportunity to either put them on a CP3, CP9, or any C pallet. We can stack them 4 or 8 high on each pallet. But in this picture, you see a specific solution for Scandinavia. We mentioned it earlier in the plastics. It's a row pack system, which enables us to put 8 drums in a row and stack up to 40 drums on one pallet.
As Milan underlined, the solution that we see here was a solution that was developed specifically for the country, but Greif is also able to offer other possibility, and is also able to bring some technical solution to make some downloading, automatic downloading with some robot. So if you have some needs about that, we can study together what Greif can bring on that. We have some knowledge on that aspect.
Here we soon will see this final operation, which is the strapping of the drums to the pallet. But worth mentioning is some customer has the mirrored machines, which means they have automatically taking off the drums from these pallets, so no manual labor. One thing is that these drums, or this packaging of drums, gives up opportunity to transport up to 440 drums per load on a truck. It's a different for the CP3 pallets themselves. So finally, we will see the drums be taken out from the production line. And after that, we will have additional time, and back to Cheryl for questions and answers.
Thank you, guys. As we had before, we have quite a few questions to go through here. So let's move on to the Q&A portion. Let's see. The first thing we have is with regards to the eco paint. Nicola, can you talk to us a little bit about what that impact is and where it's available? I think there was a question about if we could disclose the paint producer. I don't think you'll do that, but if you could just talk a little bit more about the paint involved. Did we lose Nicola?
It's quite a low impact on the eco paint, but we have done this evaluation. We have now developed what we call a green tool, and the impact of this eco paint is about 7 grams of CO2 that we can save by using this eco paint.
Okay. Milan, can you give a little bit more details about your leak testing? There was also a question about helium shortage. If you have an alternative way to test if that's not available, and how do you go about doing that?
It is a shortage in the world, but we've been lucky to obtain the services of the leakage. But there are different solutions for leak testing besides helium. I mentioned one for the open head drums is a delta measurement, but you also can do measurement with air, and you put then the drums in the water paint, but then I have a different procedure and a different scope of measuring drums.
And then there was a question regarding tin-plated drums. I know we offer the sterile pack in the United States. Nicola, I don't know if you have any other suggestions regarding the tin plate.
We have done some template in the past, but now the smaller products that we are able to deliver is around 30 liter, and after it will be a higher capacity that we can have on market.
And then there's a couple of questions regarding circular economy, reconditioning, collections for both IBCs and steel. If you missed it, we did host a lifecycle services webinar in April. So happy to point you in that direction. You should be able to find that on our website, and I'm happy to send that out to everybody. But maybe Luca, you could talk a little bit about IBC collections and reconditioning and what Greif has to offer.
Yeah, thank you, Sherry, and thanks for the question. Yeah, we have many programs for handling a circular economy with customer, and we are really increasing day by day the engagement with our customers. So we have solution with just a simple collection at the final user when the final user is asking for the IBC. But we are now arrived also to have IBC which are even tracked with the Internet of Things solution, so IoT technology applied on IBC, where we can see in every moment where the IBCs are, the status of the filling level, which is a benefit also for our customers. And then we can see as soon as the IBC is emptied, we can go and collect the IBC proactively, not just waiting for the IBC to be collected after the call for collection. So this is a way to increase the number of IBC reusable at your site or at a global level, increasing the number of reusable IBCs. So I encourage really to get in touch with us, but we will come back also to you asking the questions about the proposal of a specific solution. But really many ideas already in place for satisfying this growing need of our customers.
Yeah, and our reconditioning and collection footprint across the US and across Europe continues to grow. We're always looking for partners in LATAM and APAC to work with us as well. So we're happy to reach out to you about those solutions that we have in those parts of the world. All right, I think that brings us to the close of our questions. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I'm also encouraging you, if you want to in the chat, please feel free to type any ideas you'd like to see for future webinars. We're always collecting those ideas from everybody, and I'm happy to entertain those in the future. And then one last closing question before we wrap up. I'd like to know if you would like a Greif representative to contact you. So please vote on the polling screen that you see. I want to thank our panelists, our team in Sweden for all of their work preparing for this presentation. I want to thank our product managers for their knowledge. We are available to work with you, so please don't hesitate to reach out to any of the presenters as well as your account managers to have additional support and information. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we did record the webinar, so we can share this recording with you. And you can reach out to your Greif representative if you'd like more information in the future. I'd like to close by encouraging you to follow us on LinkedIn to stay up to date with all the Discover Greif webinar events, and we encourage you to engage with us in all things industrial packaging. Again, thank you for attending, and we wish you a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.